Rock Hard Radio 1 presents from New York City, Rock Hard with Jay Conroy.
Okay.
All right, with us here in the studio, actually via Skype, is Giuly Jarrin. Say hi, Giuly. How are you doing?
Hi Jay. Hi everybody. How are you?
Thanks for being on the show. And the reason I wanted to have you on the show is you were, when I first started the show at Chestnut Radio, I remember the owner called me up and he said, "You have all these people in South America that are listening to the show, you know?" I said, "Really, you know?" And you were one of the first people. And, you know, we got to talking, and of course we got to talking about Aerosmith, and you being younger than me, as opposed to me being older than you being younger, I think when we first started talking, had you seen Aerosmith yet at that point?
No, I already saw them, but just for my first time in Ecuador, here in my country.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was the first time I saw them, but I couldn't actually meet them. I just saw the concert, and that was it for the moment.
Now, I want to go back a little bit because so many people have very similar Aerosmith stories of how they got into Aerosmith. But when you told me yours, I said, you know, this is exactly like mine was, you know, growing up, that I was just infatuated, obsessed with them. And you had told me a story, and I want you to elaborate on that a little bit. You had told me a story about your parents were actually sort of worried because they thought, oh my God, she's so obsessed by this band and this Steven Tyler guy. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, since I started really young, at first my parents thought it was just like a stage, you know? Oh yeah, this is a stage, sooner or later she's going to leave that behind and that's it. But no, it actually lasted almost my entire life. So yeah, my parents always, at first they were like, Giuly, okay, stop. And it of course it became worse after I saw them for the first time.
Well,
So
it became better. Better for you, worse for them.
I think they realized how much it was, how much it meant to me when they saw what I did to have the band in my country. I don't know if you remember the story, but me and a friend, we created this request online because there were no promoters that wanted to bring Aerosmith here to my country because the show was too expensive and they were afraid they couldn't fill a stadium. So I went to talk to these guys and they told me, no, it's too expensive. We are afraid we will have to see some proofs that people will actually come to the show. And I said, okay, so how many, what do you need exactly? And they told me a proof that at least 30,000 people will be in the show. So that was how my friend, whose name is Luis Macias, and I started this request. So we got more than 30,000 people to join it, and
now, let
we
me ask
gave
you,
it.
that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
How long did that take you to get that many people?
More than 6 months.
Okay, that's still very good.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah,
is all
it was-
the Facebook pages that I remember.
Yeah, it was an event. So with that proof in my hands, I went to talk to them and told them, see, there's this amount of people who wants the band in the country, and this is just people that are on Facebook. But there's lots of people who don't even have a Facebook, and they will be on the concert as well. So they told me, okay, we will negotiate and we will talk to the band, and then I will give you any news. So a bit more than a month after, they gave me a call and they told me, okay, Aerosmith is coming to our country and it's thanks to you. So wow, I just couldn't believe it at first. It was like, oh my God, did we actually make this happen? And I think that was a moment when my parents realized it wasn't just a stage or just a simple obsession or anything like that, but it was something that was really important for me in my life. So yeah, and that was the first time I actually saw them, because I tried to see them like 3 or 4 times when I was in the States on vacations or something like that, but I couldn't make it to any of the concerts. So I had to wait 21 years to see them for the first time. But it was amazing, because I didn't even think. Never they were coming to my country. So seeing them there for the very first time was the most special thing ever. Uh-huh.
Which, that part surprises me because South America, as I've discussed with you and others on Facebook, is a huge rock and roll market,
Yeah,
especially hard rock.
yeah,
I don't know if you ever saw the documentary by Iron Maiden called Flight 666.
yeah,
Have
yeah.
you
I saw
seen
it.
that? Okay.
Yeah,
That was full-blown proof to me just how big of a demand that there was for hard rock and heavy metal in South America. So
yeah,
I'm surprised that promoters were like, no, we can't really do it, or, I'm surprised they were hesitant on it. I really
yeah,
was.
yeah. They usually do that. I mean, it's pretty common here, especially in my country, because they like to play it safe.
Mm.
They rather do concerts. They know that
Or, yeah.
will bring lots of people, like Justin Bieber, for example. They
Yeah,
know
unfortunately,
he
he
has
attracts
lots.
a crowd anywhere.
Yeah, yeah. They know he has plenty of young followers, and they like to play it safe, or they go just more for Latin artists rather
Mm.
than international. I mean, like English artists or bands like that. But recently, things have started to change. Aerosmith was one of the concerts that changed the reality here.
Which is
Um,
a really, really, really good thing.
yeah, yeah, because before that, no, any rock concert brought so many people. I mean, Aerosmith concert had like 48,000 people.
And
So
that's a
it
couple of
was
things
huge.
I want to talk about that you just said. You talked about younger people, um, and interestingly enough, and I know I've told you this before, the demographic for that kind of music, and Aerosmith in particular, is a much younger demographic in South America than it
Yeah.
is here in America. I mean, because they've been around, since the mid 70s, and a
Hmm.
lot of the Aerosmith fans have stayed with them. So many of the people at the American shows are middle aged people.
Yeah.
And then you also have the people that got into them in the 80s, and those people are all in their 30s now. And now you
Yeah.
have people that bring their kids. So, I mean, it's definitely multi generational. But the main fan base is a middle-aged fan base, and that's
Hmm.
what I loved about South America. I said, they're a younger fan base over there. I'm like, these people are all 20 something, they get it, they're into them, this is fantastic, and so I found that very interesting, for starters. And the other thing, and I think I've told you this before, is that for them to play over here, it's different over there, I guess, because, and this is just, from my research, that being as there's not as many concerts over there, that when they have them, they're huge. Because
Yeah.
40,000 people or 48,000 people,
Mhm.
that is a lot of people. And
Yeah.
that is much bigger than any arenas here. I mean, anything like that would have to be done outside. There's no arenas within this area that hold 40,000 people. Okay?
Yeah.
It would have to be in a stadium. And,
Yeah.
it would, so, the shows over there seem to be much, much bigger than they are over here. Whereas here they'll play multiple nights to 20,000 people. They'll play in this state, and then they'll play in that state. And where I live here in New York City, everything is very close. I mean, all these other shows like Connecticut, Philadelphia, New Jersey, these places are all a half hour to 2 hours away. So it's not a big deal to go and catch multiple shows. So
Yeah.
I think that's why that they don't do the big, 40, 50,000, people that they do over
Yeah.
there. That's just kind of kind of a take on it. So they came to. I remember last. I remember when they announced that they were. I think Stephen was doing something. I think on the internet one night, and he announced that we're going to get over to South America in October or something like that. Last October.
Yeah.
And you guys went crazy on Facebook over there. Everybody was like, they're coming. And I was like, this is so great for them. And, they came and they conquered. And now a couple of things I want to ask you about because I have my chronology off on this. I know you also won a contest to go to Singapore. Is that correct?
Well, it wasn't actually a contest. These people kind of tracked me. It was like I received an email. Well, I have this page that is called Aerosmith in Ecuador 2011, which was the page we used to do the event I told you before.
Yeah.
So they sent me an email and they told me, we know the owner of this page is a girl, and we have seen your pictures on Twitter with the band, and we have seen you have traveled to other countries to see them, and we want to talk to you. So I was like, what is this? I mean, these people were called the Star Count. I never heard about them before. And I replied, and they texted me back and they told me they were creating this app for iPhone. And well, the thing for this app was to, how can I say, to check how much activity a star has with their fans. So they needed an Aerosmith fan. At first, I didn't get why they needed exactly an Aerosmith fan. But yeah, I was like, fine, sure, I can help. They asked me about things. They asked me for things about the band, about how it's like to be an Aerosmith fan, how have my concerts been, and things like that. Then they sent me this link to try the app before it was released to general audience, and that was it for me. I thought it was just that, just helping them develop this app, and that was it. Of course, they asked me to spread the word about it. So yeah, I share the app all over Twitter, Facebook, and that was it. Then one day I was at work, and I got this tweet from them. There was this message that told me StarCount has mentioned me, and I went on Twitter to check it, and they were letting me know that they chose me as Aerosmith's super fan, and I had won this amazing trip to Singapore to be with them for an entire week, and I was like, what?
That's crazy. When I read it, I was like, oh my God, just to get to go to Singapore?
Yeah,
to go to Singapore for that?
Yeah.
So now tell me about that. You went over there and you did stuff with the band. It wasn't just like you went backstage and watched the concert. No. So take me through that. Take me through, you got to Singapore and what happened?
I got to Singapore, and at first I didn't understand why was I chosen and how was the thing.
You're in Singapore and you still can't figure this out.
Yeah. It was like it all happened so fast because they let me know, and less than a week later I was already on the plane to Singapore.
Wow. So
it was really quick, and when I got there, they first explained the whole thing. They told me, we've been checking you for quite a while. We found out about the thing you did on social network to have your band in your country. And then we saw pictures from you in the United States flying to see your band and meeting Steve and Joe and all the band. And we find that it is amazing that such a young girl could do that. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe you even tracked me or how it was. And they were like, yeah, we are like specialists in check what is going on in social media. So that's how we got to you. And I was like, wow, I mean, this world has changed so much. This social media thing, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, well, I got to the hotel. The hotel, to begin with, was surreal. It was the Marina Bay Sands. If you don't know what hotel that is, Google it. It's
I
crazy.
saw the pictures of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, well, I found out Aerosmith was also staying there. So it was like, wow, I'm staying at the same hotel and everything. So, well, they gave us our room, which was in one of the highest floors. It had this amazing view, and they explained the whole thing. You were going to the Social Star Awards, which was this
I
show,
remember
kind
that.
of the
Yes.
MTV Video Music Awards, very similar. And you're also going to the red carpet. You're going to an after party with all the stars. You're going to concerts for like 3 days. And well, it was just so much stuff that I was like, I was still processing the whole thing. And well, then we got some time to rest because the flight was really long. It was like 38 hours.
Wow, that's
So
long.
yeah, we rest a little bit. We took a shower and we decided to go and check the hotel. So we were checking it, and next thing you know, we ran into Steven. So I was like, oh my God, that was the first time I saw Steven since I last saw him in Los Angeles in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So I see him, and he's like, wait a minute. Well, I told him I'm the one who won the contest. Well, not the contest, the selection of the super fan. And he's like, wait a minute, I remember you. And I'm like, you do? And he says, yes, you are from South America, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he says, but they told me you were from Brazil. And I said, no. And he stays thinking and he says, you were from Ecuador, right? And I'm like, yeah. So he did remember me.
That's great.
Yeah. And he said that what really stuck in his mind was my dream on tattoo I have on the back of my ear.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he really remembered it because the time I showed it to him in LA, he was crazy about it and he started kissing it like 100 times. So he was like, "Yeah, of course I remember you. I'm so happy a real good fan won this thing because usually these things are not always fair. Sometimes they don't choose the correct people. Sometimes they are not even fans. But I'm glad this time they really took their time to choose a person who really deserved this award."
And I'm happy to hear that too, because I hate when that happens, where somebody wins
Yeah.
that, they're not the best qualified. It's like,
Yeah.
and that's not to take away from anybody, but somebody that has worked so hard, like yourself, obviously you deserve it, as opposed to somebody that just casually likes the band.
Yeah, I've seen many people winning contests that didn't. Well, it's not that they don't deserve it, but there's people who really deserves this kind of stuff. So I was happy that Steven thought I was a person who really deserved it. So we were hanging out that day for like half an hour, and we were just talking about so many things. And he told me to explain him a little bit about this election and how was the thing. So I told him the entire story about how they contact me and everything. So he was pretty excited. He told me, well, before this, we didn't know all the dates they were coming to South America. We just knew they were coming, but we didn't had any
So the
dates.
South
or
American dates hadn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it wasn't sure yet. We were like expecting them to announce the tour, but
So up until this point, you had only seen them once in your country and in the United States.
twice. And twice in the States. Well, 3 times. I saw them in California one time and 2 times in Florida.
Okay, I remember those. I remember
Yeah.
those. But in your country, only that one time before
Yeah,
that.
that was time. So there were only 3 shows I've seen of them so far. So he was like, we're coming to South America, right? And I was like, yeah, but there's still just rumors about it. It's nothing sure yet. And he was like, no, it's sure. And he gave me all the dates. And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna give you all the dates so you can pick the ones you like, and let me know when you decide which ones you want to go because I will invite you. And I was like, what? So I wasn't already like 5 hours in Singapore, and he was already inviting me to another tour. So I was like,
Nice.
this is crazy. Yeah. So well, we talked for a little while more. Then he left. We were all like crazy because I took my best friend because they gave me the part of the prize was
Yeah.
taking somebody with you.
Which is nice.
So-
You don't want to go traveling all that way by yourself, even though what you're
Yeah.
going for is great, but at the same
Yeah.
time, it's nice to
Yeah.
have a companion, yeah.
And she's also a big Aerosmith fan.
Mm-hmm.
And when she met Steven, she was like, she couldn't believe it. She was very excited, and I was also happy to make that happen for her because I think it meant a lot for her. So
Go ahead.
the next day we had some. Well, everything was very crazy during the entire experience because there was so many things going on, interviews, photos, many things. So the next day we had a couple of interviews, and every time the coolest thing about this was that the hotel was pretty big, and it had a mall inside it. So every time we went to I don't know to go shopping or anything, we ran into Steven or Joey or Brad or any of them. Or we were eating and they were eating in the table next to us, and it was crazy to be able to run into each other so many times. And every time we run into each other, we will say hi and chat a little bit. That day, I also was able to see this photo shoot. I'm sure many of you have seen it. It's that photo shoot they took in the pool, in the infinity pool,
Yes.
that you can see all the buildings behind.
Yes.
Yeah, I was able to see the entire photo shoot, and I talked to Brad, and he invited me to have dinner with him and his son Zach, who is the
sure.
photographer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had dinner with them, and I could explain Brad a bit about what I did in Ecuador to have them and all the things. And Brad was pretty excited about the entire story. He even asked me if I wanted to be his manager.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was pretty funny. He's such an amazing guy. Then at the next day, it was the Social Star Awards, and it was just a mind blowing experience because it was pretty much like a dream. I mean, I never imagined I was going to walk a red carpet and next to Aerosmith especially, but not only them, but so many stars: Jessica Alba, Jermaine Jackson, just so many stars that were there. I was like, I didn't even know where to look because
Yeah.
they were all over. So it was a really fun thing to do. And then the Social Star Awards, it was amazing because Aerosmith was the first act. So I was there in front row, in front of the catwalk, and it was a pretty small stage, so it was very intimate because you had them really close. They will raise your hands. There were no barricades, so you were right on the edge of the stage.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was pretty cool, and every time they saw me, they will wink at me or say hi or blow me kisses. So it was pretty amazing.
That is, yeah, it's
They
very amazing. I remember watching it on Facebook and watching it unfold,
yeah, yeah,
and sending you messages. I'm so happy for you. This is so great.
yeah,
Because
I
again,
remember.
and this is why I had you on the show. I went from knowing you as not a little girl, but hearing your story about you being a little girl. And knowing how tough it is, in this country, especially the Northeast, because they're based here in the Northeast, so
Yeah.
we get more chances to see them. So, to see that all the dreams come true was it was so heartwarming, to see that. Another thing I noticed about when they were in South America, not just with you, but everybody, they seemed to be very, very accessible. And that's not like that here in the States. I mean, it seemed like they were just out and about in the town, in the restaurants, here, there. So many pictures
Yeah.
came out of South America from so many fans. So was the vibe different over there? Were they more accessible? Were they more relaxed to be able to, come out of the hotel and walk around in public? Because it's not
Well,
that easy for them here.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
Steven can't make a move here without getting completely freaking
yeah,
mobbed.
yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
But yeah, in Singapore, it wasn't that easy. I mean, it was easy maybe for Brad or Joey, but every time Steven walked around the hotel, there was a bunch of people following him.
Yeah. But what about in
And
South America? I mean, when they
yeah, in
toured.
South America, it happens the same. It's easier for the rest of the band, but for Joe or Steven, every time they go out, people get crazy, but they still go out.
That's
Joe
what I
not that
saw.
much. Joe not that much, but Steven he does come out and he loves it. I mean,
Oh,
he
that he
loves
does.
to spend some time with the fans and take pictures, talk to them. But yeah, it happens. It happens. Well, it was a bit harder. I went to two shows this last time. I went to Uruguay and I went to Argentina.
Okay.
So it was easier to see him in Uruguay rather than Argentina because the hotel from Argentina was like designed for these kind of things. It had this entrance with this, how can I say,
Like
you
gates.
couldn't enter directly to the hotel. The hotel was inside this kind of fortress. I mean, it was like impenetrable. It was really
Yeah.
hard to get in. But well, in Uruguay, he came to the hotel lobby like 3 times, and he took pictures with the fans. Also, one night we were at the casino, and there were some fans, and he came out to play, but it was just by himself and his assistants AJ and Amy and his security, and nobody could go where they were.
Right.
But Steven saw me, and he was like, he called me and he invited me to gamble with him. He
Nice.
actually, yeah, it was fun because in my country casinos are banned,
Oh,
so
really?
there's no casinos here.
Okay, because here they play in a lot of casinos, and Steven always shows up in the casino afterwards. So
Yeah.
he must love to do a little
Yeah,
gambling.
so I didn't know how to play, and he was the one who taught me how to play the roulette and how to play blackjack and all the things. So it was pretty amazing to say that the person who taught you that was Steven Tyler.
Yeah.
It was funny, and yeah, it was a crazy
Yeah, the
night.
next time you're gambling and somebody says, "Where'd you learn that?" You say, "Steven Tyler."
Steven Tyler.
Yeah.
Steven Tyler, you know.
Now,
Yeah, it was funny. It was funny, and it was so much fun. We had a lucky straight that night because in every number we bet, we won. So it was pretty amazing. He was the nicest guy, like always. and I don't know, it was just so much fun. But yeah, I've seen the entire band interacting a lot more with fans.
Yeah, me
And
too.
for
I saw it on
example,
Facebook, and that's what I mean. I
yeah,
was like, wow, in
yeah.
America,
For
they.
example,
Go ahead.
that same night, Brad stood with us till 5 a.m. just like making jokes, drinking beers, chatting with fans, and it was unbelievable. I
I saw
mean,
a lot of those pictures from that party.
yeah, and we
Yeah.
were like, Brad, seriously, if you need to rest and sleep because show is tomorrow, don't be afraid and tell us. And he was like, no. Well, why would I want to leave? I don't even need to sleep. I can do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, yeah, it's true. They are very accessible, and they are very they are very, how can I say, they feel normal about it. It's like
Hmm.
it's not even hard for them to do it, or anything. It's just they want to go out and they do, and it's fine for
Yeah, and
them.
they're veterans. They know what they're doing. They
Yeah,
definitely know what they're
the
doing.
the security with them is it's a bit more strict, because when I saw them in the United States, um, the only people taking care of Steven was AJ.
Hmm.
So, but here in South America, they always have these bodyguards, like three bodyguards.
Right.
So sometimes when you come close to them, it's the bodyguards that go like, "Nope, you can't come," and Steven is like, "No, take it easy. It's fine.
Yeah.
She can come." So
Yeah.
they
He's very
they
cool
they
like
are,
that. I've been in situations and seen
yeah,
situations, same thing, and Steven's like, no, 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 it's cool.
yeah,
I
yeah.
had a similar
So
situation with Joe now. Now, moving
yeah,
forward, I think you said you were talking about coming to some of the shows in the States this summer.
yeah, yeah. I'm working that out because I want to do three or two or three shows, but
Now,
so far, yeah, I have the tickets for two of them.
okay, what
Um,
shows?
yeah, for the one in LA and Vegas.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited to see them again. And
No plans to make it to the New York area?
no, because I will be in that time. The problem is the dates
Hmm.
don't match with the time I will be around.
I see.
So because I wanted to do the Boston show as well, but the same day, that the Boston show is going to be is also my mother's birthday, and I haven't been in my mom's birthday for 2 years already. And since we are doing this family trip, I don't want to be out of it because of the concert.
Well, that's
And
the right thing to do. I wouldn't
yeah,
do it, but that's the
yeah.
right thing to do.
Yeah, I know. It kills me
It
because I
does.
really
I know.
wanted to be there.
Believe me, I've
Yeah,
been
I
there.
really wanted to be there because one of my dreams is meeting Boston and see the entire Aerosmith history and all the buildings, Commonwealth Avenue, and everything. I just dream to go to Boston and visit the whole thing. But as you see, this time won't be possible. But
Yeah,
I
because next
think,
time, next time they're playing here, I know you did Hollywood, Florida, and you did California, but yeah, you definitely want to try to hit the Northeast because they play a lot of shows around here
yeah,
within a 500-mile radius.
yeah,
Because I don't know how much you know about the Northeast, but Boston is only about 4 or 5 hours from New York. Connecticut, a few hours away. Philadelphia, a few hours away. Washington D.C. a few hours away. So all those shows you can hit so many more shows in this area. And
yeah, it's true.
it's always been like that. Which is good. Because
Yeah.
this is their stronghold. So obviously, they come here and they play a lot of shows, which is great for us. So, next time you should come to the East Coast.
Yeah, I'm definitely going. My problem this time were only the dates. They were crossing with my family vacation dates, so that was the reason why I couldn't do so much because I really wanted to do more concerts, but in the end, it came impossible for me. But you know, luckily for all of us, the band is doing great, and I don't see them leaving these stages for at least many more years. So
I
I'm sure
agree.
maybe next year or when they announce their new tour, I will be
Yeah.
definitely going there.
And
Yeah.
that's how it. And I think I'm a firm believer in karma. What comes around goes around. And I think by you doing the right thing, and going on your mom's birthday and the family vacation, that it's going to pay
Yeah.
off for you down the road with Aerosmith. I'm a firm believer in, that's how things
Yeah.
happen. You know,
Yeah, it's
so
true. And also, this is just to keep my family calm because if I really step out of the vacation to go to an Aerosmith show, they will be like, "Oh my God, Julie, this is too much," and
yeah. Now they're gonna
you
think you're
understand
crazy
me. Yeah.
again, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they
They're gonna
will
be like,
start
you know
with
what? When
thing.
she was a little girl, we were right. She's crazy. She's still crazy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, okay, to keep everything in peace,
Yeah.
I'm doing the right thing.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are, and that will pay off for you, and they will be here again. Somebody recently said to me, they're going to have to drag those guys off the stage, and I said, you're right. I don't
Yeah,
see them calling it a day anytime soon. They're strong on stage still to
yeah.
this day.
Yeah,
You know,
it's unbelievable. You could never think they are in their mid 60s. I
right?
mean,
That's what blows me away. I watch these guys, and I go, I know people that are younger than this that couldn't
yeah,
move around like this.
yeah,
Forget playing. They couldn't even just sustain being
yeah,
up there, and that's why when people give me a hard time about their old, I'm like, you know what? Go see them. Get back to me, okay? Because they have the energy of a band that's in their 20s. They
yeah.
really do.
So true. Yeah.
They put out 100%. So I am so glad that you were able to join us to do this.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you for inviting me. It was
Well, yeah,
really cool to be.
like we've been talking about this for gosh, how long? We've been talking about this forever,
Yeah,
and
like maybe 3 years, 2 years.
yeah, and I've been so busy, and
Yeah,
just it's one thing on top of another, and then you're busy, and then I'm busy, and then so
yeah,
I'm glad we finally got to get you on the show, and not just that, but to actually talk to you on Skype because I've only ever talked to you on Facebook.
yeah. Thanks,
And
Jay.
you
I really appreciate the fact you invited me to your show, give me this space to share my story with you because, to be honest, this is my favorite thing to do, talk about Aerosmith, share my experiences because these guys, they are so amazing and I wish more people could know how amazing they are, how sensible people, humble, and all these qualities this band has because I've met some rock stars, and they are not even close to what Aerosmith is.
yeah.
These guys are out of this world. They are very humble, very nice. They are always sweet and loving to you. So um, I always say I love them, but after I met them and all the experiences I've shared with them, I don't even know how to define what I feel about them now.
Hmm.
It's way more than love and admiration because they are beyond that. I
Yeah.
mean, they are amazing.
It
Yeah,
becomes a part of your life. I mean, it has been a part of my life since 1975, and that's just the way it is. It's a part of my life. So,
yeah.
I totally understand that.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. It's been a crazy ride. I mean, I never expected it to end up this way and so
Mm.
fast because only 3 years ago I was still dreaming
That's what I
to meet
remember.
them.
Yes.
Yeah, and now last time Steven invited me to the South American tour, and I did these two shows, Uruguay and Argentina, and he made me his special guest. He took me to his dressing room. He even made me pick his first outfit he wore
Oh,
in
that's
Uruguay,
cool.
and he gave me this little tour inside, and he
I think I
talked.
saw some
Talked
pictures from that. I think you put some pictures
Yeah,
up.
yeah, it was
Yes. Yeah.
crazy, and I was able to show him my tattoos. to tell them their meanings, and he was excited about them. I even was able to share some of my personal stories and feelings, and he was giving me advices. He even gave me a book. He recommended me to read because I told him about some tough things I was going through. So he gave me this book, which is the Book of Awakening, and he told
Is
me
that the
you
name of
should
the
read
book?
this.
What is the name of the book?
The Book of Awakening.
The Book of Awakening.
Yeah, and he told me you have to read this book every day of the year, and I promise it will help you with the things you are telling me you're struggling with. So yeah, it is true. It has helped me a lot, and all his sincere advices. I felt like he was like in that moment like a father to me because he
Mm.
was very sincere with things and the words he told me and the way he hugged me, and he really looked interested in helping me. So I really appreciated it, and the fact he told me that because I always tell him that he's my idol and I love him so much, and he was like, no, I don't want you to call me an idol anymore. I'm not your idol, I'm your friend. I'm here for you. And it really meant the world to me. And yeah, it's crazy to even be able to say that. I mean, as I said, 3 years ago I was still dreaming to meet them, and now things have changed so much. Steven has taken me to gamble with him. He gives me advices. He takes me to his dressing room. He invites me to his shows. So it's pretty amazing, and it's crazy to think that such a rock star like him is so down to earth, so nice, so
Yes, and he very much is. He's got a big, big heart, and
yeah,
he's a sweet person. He really, really
yeah,
is. And so, it doesn't surprise me. But it's been so much fun watching you, take that journey from 3 years ago and to where it is now. And I'm very happy for you. I knew how bad you wanted it, and I remember saying to you, look, just keep dreaming, eventually it'll happen.
yeah.
And
I remember.
yeah, and
Sometimes I didn't even believe it so hard because I was always thinking it's so impossible, it's so hard, and you were like, no, keep dreaming, it will happen, it will happen, and it did.
that
So
is exactly
thanks,
what I
Jay,
said.
for encouraging me. It's so bad because
Yes.
there were times I really doubt it will happen. I was like, no, it's so hard. I live in Ecuador. These kind of things don't happen to people in my country. But amazingly, they did. So,
Well, you're welcome,
yeah,
and I am
dreams do come
glad that
true.
it did. I am so
Yeah,
glad that it did. And the shows over there, the YouTube footage I've seen were phenomenal. Off the
yeah.
hook shows. So
Unfortunately, they didn't record DVD.
mm,
We were expecting it. We thought they were going to record the South American video because the audience here is really passionate. So
that's what
shows
I've seen
here,
and heard.
the
Yeah.
audience, it's the entire time they are jumping, they are singing their songs, they are raising their arms. I mean, people here, when we get to see them, people get crazy. The first time I saw them in LA, I mean, out of South America, I was surprised at how um, cold the people is because they were sitting like they were watching, I don't know, this play at a theater. Like they were so quiet and calm.
It's very interesting you say that, and I'm going to choose my words carefully here, but I have noticed that from watching not just Aerosmith but other bands over there, and I'm like, look at the crowd. In fact, there was a big rock. A big festival during the summer. Rock, was it Rock in Rio or Rock in Brazil? The Brazil Monsters of
Rock
Rock
and
or
Rio.
something like
Yeah,
that. And I'm watching this concert online, and I'm like, look at these people. They're going crazy. And
yeah,
you're right. They don't do that in America, and I don't know why. I do. So if you're sitting around me, people, I know in the beginning are thinking, oh, geez, with this guy. He's drunk, he's this. It's no, I'm not
yeah.
drunk.
Same
I'm not
here. Same
high.
here.
I'm happy. I'm not gonna hurt anybody, but I'm gonna be like, yeah, the whole time.
Yeah,
You know, I'm not gonna be
that's me
like,
in every show. Seriously,
yeah. I come out of the
people
show, I'm
always stares at
sweating,
me like,
you
"What's
know.
wrong?"
Yeah, and that's I have definitely noticed that difference over there. That people definitely go like more physically and emotionally crazy, which I love because that's rock and roll. Than they do here, and I don't know why that is. You know,
I don't know. Maybe we have that in our veins because as Latin people, we are very passionate about everything, and when something really means something to us, that passion um, reaches levels that can't be contained.
mm,
So that's the reason why in shows and things like that, also in sports, for example, soccer, we call it here football.
right.
But people is passionate, very passionate here about music and sports. So every time you get to see a show or something like that, you will see people getting crazy. And that's the normal thing here. I mean, when you see a really cold show with people no jumping and things like that, it's because something really weird is happening because that usually never happens here. I've never seen it happening. But yeah, that time in LA, for example, I remember I was jumping and I was screaming, and a security guard told me to please sit down, and if I continue doing that, he will take me out of the venue. So I was like,
Oh,
"What?
that's just
Are you
wrong.
serious?"
Well,
Like,
you know what too
yeah,
though. You know what too is probably half the problem that is in L.A. and it was at the Hollywood Bowl, wasn't
yeah,
it? So you got a lot of
yeah,
celebrities there, and it's like New York and L.A. are the hardest two places for anybody to play because
yeah,
you know that's where all the other celebrities and stuff are based out of. So it's like you
yeah.
know in New York it's kind of this show me what you got, you know.
Exactly. That was late too. But luckily for all of us, Steven, he got really mad. And he was like, "Hey, what are you doing? This is a rock concert. Get the fuck up."
Yeah.
So he made everybody stand up, and that was my salvation
Yeah,
because
because I
I
can't
was
believe they're going to
really
throw you
about
out
to
for
get kicked.
dancing. I mean, geez.
Yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah, after that, everything went a lot better. So yeah, it was a great show. It has some special guests. There was Stan Lee
Hmm.
from Marvel, and he was the one who introduced the band. And actually, something very funny happened before that because before the show, we were kind of waiting then on the backstage area. We weren't inside; we were outside, and we saw this limo coming, and we thought it was Steven and Joe, but no. When they opened the door, Stan Lee was coming out, so we were like in shock, and we were like, "Why is Stan Lee here?" And then we found out the entire thing. He introduced the band, and there was this whole theme about superheroes and another dimensions, things like that. So it was pretty cool. And then also they invited Johnny Depp
Yeah,
to
did the
join
train
them
kept it
for
rolling?
Train Kept Rolling. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I was getting nuts because I wasn't expecting that at all. And also, Johnny happens to be my favorite actor, along with Jared Leto. But that time, I was like, "Oh my God, what is even happening? I'm seeing my favorite band in this world, and I'm seeing my favorite actor, and they are all in the stage." So it was pretty amazing. It was badass, and
Yeah, I like Johnny Depp, and I like the fact that he's a rocker. You know, he
yeah,
also hangs with the Stones, and he's played with the Stones, and you know, yeah, he's very cool. You know, not
yeah,
only do girls like him, but
yeah.
guys like him because he's a guy's guy. You
Yeah,
know,
he's like, if you go to through a dictionary and look for the definition of cool, you might see a picture of him.
yeah,
Definitely. Yeah.
yeah,
So
and I like him in
yeah, it was
interviews
it was
too
an amazing
because
show.
you know when he's in interviews, he's just very mellow and just very, you
Yeah.
know, and so yeah, he's a very likable guy. So.
Yeah.
All right, so it's been a great trip, and it's not over yet. That's
Yeah,
the
not
beauty of it.
over. The best is yet to
The
come.
best is definitely yet to come.
Yeah.
You know, we're of course obviously getting psyched up here now for summertime,
Yeah.
and I've
Yeah.
got I think 4 or
Also
5
getting ready.
shows. Hmm.
I'm also getting ready for that, so
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
wait.
Well,
So,
hopefully on the
so
next tour, you get to the New York area, we meet in person. And,
yeah.
because as I said, you come here and you can, in this neck of the woods, you can catch 4, 5, 6 shows easily, all within maximum 4 or 5 hours of each other.
Great, that's
So,
amazing. Yeah, I will definitely go there, and I would love to meet you personally and visit you. And that will be another dream, of course, because one of the best things of this entire adventure has been exactly that, meeting all that beautiful people along the way. I
mm,
have met so many great fans and so many beautiful people like you, Jay, and that's one of the reasons I always say that Aerosmith is not just a band. To me, it's a lifestyle,
yes.
because it's just so many things involved around this. The people you know, the fact you travel and meet other cultures, the people you meet, the experiences you gain with the band, the shows, the euphoria. It's everything. So it's an amazing thing to live, and I feel grateful with Aerosmith, because most of the most amazing experiences of my life have been thanks to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very grateful with them, and they are my life, honestly.
And I
They-
love to see that because, look, my stories are out there. I mean, I've met them over and over and this, that, and the next thing. But I love to see other people get their dreams to come true and
yeah,
it's such a thrill to like be on the other side and watch that. And that's why I was
yeah,
so rooting for you. And other people, but you in particularly because we knew each other. That's why I was so rooting for you because I'm like, oh, she gets this, she's gonna flip out when she sees them. I mean, it's gonna be off the hook. So
yeah.
I
It
never
was
get tired. Like people will come to me and they'll go, "Oh, well then I guess you're not interested in listening to my Aerosmith story." I said, "No, I am interested." I said, "I got a million of them, and the reason I got a million of them is because I listen to other people's stories.
yeah,
That's what I want to hear. I already know my damn stories. I want to hear the other
exactly.
people's stories. And it
I
just."
love the same. I
Yeah,
love hearing
it's
them.
to experience someone else's joy and to see the happiness
Yeah.
that it brings that person. That's a very cool thing. So, Julie, thank you so much for doing this. It was an extreme pleasure. So once
Okay.
again,
Yep.
thank you so much, Giuly Jarrin. Everyone, give her a big round of applause out there. I can hear
thank
them.
thank you.
I can hear them.
Thank you so much, Jay, for having
You
me.
are
It
so
was
welcome,
really
and thanks for
special.
doing it for me. And
No, thank you.